Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Bong Window Behind the Hype. So if you haven't watched my previous video, that is Bong Window Behind the Hype episode 1, then I will just link that in the description box below or in the pinned comment. You can go and check that out. So today's video is divided into three parts. First part would be the trend or the topic of discussion, and the second part would be the research and what the experts are saying, and the third part, which is the most interesting part, my opinion and my experience with it. Also, when I was researching this, I really got to know many things which has actually shocked me out, but it was a really learning experience for me. So if you too get shocked learning something from this video, then just so you know, I was there in your shoes too. So grab your snacks and enjoy this video. So what are these microdramas? So microdramas are extremely short episodic dramas that is mainly for mobile viewing. They usually run for about 1 to 10 minutes per episode. Some even go as short as 1 to 2 minutes per episode. They are structured with bit-sized episodes, often with 80 to 100 episodes per series. They prioritized fast-paced storytelling, cliffhangers, twists, and emotional hooks, and usually shot vertically for smartphones. They are distributed on short video platforms like YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, in TikTok, and other short dramas apps such as Kusho, Dramabox, Mobo Reels, and other dedicated microdrama apps. Short format contents existed for a very long time, but it became mainstream from 2013 when YouTube started getting popularity. You can say that they started going rounds from South Korea and China, and later in India too we could see short format contents in YouTube, which became quite popular due to its relatability, easy accessibility, less time consumption, but entertaining at the same time. Among them are the contents of the TVF, the Viral Fever, Filter Copy, etc. Later you could see that they become so viral that they got massive fan following, and as a result they got picked up by the big giants like Amazon Prime and Netflix, and are currently now available in these platforms and now produced by them. And they straight up became from low budget series to high budget series, and now have become long format drama. In the 2020-2021, due to COVID lockdown, people started to having a lot of free time to explore. Also, not to forget, the regular dramas has also stopped filming too, and as a result, in order to suffice the gap of newer content, people started to explore anything and everything, left, right, and center, whatever is there in the internet, and one of these are these micro dramas. Currently, the global market is 8 billion, and by the year 2030, it is expected to reach $9.5 billion. And the interesting part is the investment can be as low as $10,000 per episode. And the most shocking part is, in China, in terms of revenue, these microdramas have surpassed the traditional box dramas. It is already a bloomed market in China, and as a result, the seasonal actors or senior actors are also taking part in it. Another upside of this format is that it has created opportunities in bulk. And since these dramas are mainly for casual snacking and not meant to be taken seriously, hence more people are getting opportunities to act in these microdramas who didn't get the chance in the mainstream. In July 2025, the first ever award function for these microdramas were held, produced by China Media Group, which means that these microdrama actors are getting recognized as much as the mainstream media actors gets recognized. And at present, it is not only in China, Korea, or in the West, but it has also taken up by the storm in India too. Apps like Kuku TV, Flick TV, Pocket FM, Reel Saga, and many more have already started producing similar content. They have been expected to grow by $5 billion in India in the next 4 to 5 years, according to the Financial Express. Many senior TV actors are also becoming a part of these microdramas. Pravesh Mishra from Barrister Babu, Zareen Khan, Nishant Singh from various TV shows and movies like Mile Jab Hum Tum and Pashmina Ke Dhage, Sasral Genda Phool, etc. Karan Mehra from Ye Rishta Kya Kehlata Hai, Rishi Mal from movies like Helicopter, Ella, Brahmastra, and from the TV show Panch, 5 Wrong Make a Right in Channel V. These are just few names from the many who work in the microdrama industry. Now, this part is gonna be interesting. This part will be my opinion blended with the research that I did. We got to know how these microdramas are taking by the storm globally. Now we are gonna know and understand the upsides and downsides of it. Let's start with the downsides first. These dramas have so less runtime and got to be so fast paced that it do not give the time to build the depth of the character and the story. Hence, you can say that the quality of the content is compromised. Microdramas are shot with a very less investment, yielding high profits. As a result, it may give tough competition to the mainstream who put a lot of effort to produce good quality content. If the mainstream media do not work or do not perform well, then these people will stop giving effort to create better content, and as a result it may be a setback for the entertainment industry in general. In short, as a result, audience would get only less effort, no-brainer content. Plotlines are ridiculously shallow and outdated. Let me give you an example. There would always be a narcissistic hero, a too good to be true, a heroine, and a scheming woman who would try to break off the relationship between the female lead and the male lead, and the ending would be either the scheming woman becomes successful in breaking the relationship between the hero and heroines, and the heroine breaks off the engagement or divorces the husband, which is the male lead, or the female lead accepts the narcissistic male lead after all the abuse and mental torture that she has gone through, instead of putting the man behind the bars. Can you believe it? We are in the 2025 and we are having contents of a scheming woman who are obsessed with the narcissistic hero and has nothing to do in life but just to scheme. Another plotline that is being showed is Reborn and Revenge. And then there's aphrodisiac poisoning, which eventually lead to the consummation of male and the female lead. Just brain rots and nothing else. We are all aware what impact that the cinema or the entertainment industry in general has over the common people, and it's a global phenomenon. People tend to dress up like their favorite characters or like their favorite actors, try to catch up the phrases or the dialogues that is being spoken by their favorite actors in any of the TV series or movies. Imagine the kind of impact that these microdramas or shallow stories may have or would have over the society. It is very much scary, and it will just take us back to the square one. What people has fought over the years to improve the society or for the betterment of the society, it will just go back to the square one. I started watching it, surprisingly I became very addicted to it. Also in YouTube or anywhere in the social media, if you watch some kind of content, it will try to push similar contents in your feed. What I started watching them as a research became my addiction. I remember daily, at least I used to watch one microdramas which usually lasted for about 1.5 to 2 hours. Some even went to 2.5 hours, and I actually watched throughout without skipping anywhere. And I noticed something, that the regular dramas which I was also parallelly watching, like at that time I was watching Bon Appetit Your Majesty, I could not watch it at a stretch. At first I thought it might be because of the plotline, which might not be interesting to watch. I started checking every 2 to 3 minutes while watching, that when it will get over, when the episode will get over. But after I stopped watching those dramas, I was able to watch the Bon Appetit Your Majesty like normally, without being impatient of when the episode will get end. That is my experience with the microdramas. And you know what, I was literally glued to these microdramas. Even though I knew what crap I'm watching, I just wanted to see the end, what or how much more crap it can show. And that is why I was deliberately watching the microdramas. So I can say that many people watch these dramas just like that, not meant to be serious but casual viewing. But you know what, it still profits them. A very broad concept, but I would try to simplify it for you. Progressive content feeds your mind, while poor quality content feeds your impulses. The first leaves you thinking, the second leaves you mindless scrolling. Progressive content makes the audience civic-minded, accepting, and informed, whereas poor quality media often normalizes negativity, bias, stereotype, or outrage cycles, contributing to cognitive laziness or mental junk food effects. Now you know which one is what. Many of these microdramas are either remade into different versions or they are adapted from the regular dramas which are very hit in the mainstream media. And this is not only restricted in China but outside China too. I have seen many stories in Chinese version as well as in the English version too. I am also seeing currently many Indian versions of those brain rots, and trust me, it felt so cringe. I could even probably watch the Chinese version of it because of obvious reasons, but not the westernized version of the male lead forcing himself onto the female lead and showcasing him as the macho man. The virus is spreading like wildfire and it is taking us, the society, backwards and going against what the feminists have fought over the years. If we are talking about microdramas, then how can we forget how bizarre the names can be? Pregnant girl betrayed by White Lotus, CEO's 10-year crush turns cruel and truth flips it all. My baby daddy is the professor when school's hottest professor becomes your husband. Another infamous but hottest selling tropes are about the uncles. Here it goes. He's 39, my cheating fiance's CEO father. I married him and he spoiled me like a princess. He is my fiance's CEO uncle. That night my fiance left me. He slept with me and said, "Marry me." He is 28-year-old CEO brother in name, but after I kissed him on my 18th birthday, he was obsessed. Do you even realize how problematic these names are? They are generally for titillating the viewers and make them to click and watch the content, and guess what? They are doing it. They are clicking it and watching it. If you look at the views, they are massive. Some even goes beyond 1 million views within a very short span of time of uploading the content. I mean, if they can get soft on YouTube or a very easy accessible platform, then why would they take the long route to satisfy themselves? These hyper tropes are nothing but, and the worst part is these rich uncles are made to look hot and handsome and desirable, who makes out with 20-year-old female protagonists. But in reality, do you actually think it is a normal thing? Trust me, it was the most uncomfortable thing to watch for me. And yes, I did watch for my content and my mind got. Even though it has many downsides, I cannot deny the fact that the format or the idea of this format is amazing, is incredible. It has many upsides of it, and here are my thoughts or the positive aspect of short format content or the microdrama content. Struggling actors who did not get opportunity in the mainstream media can now have opportunities here in the microdrama industry, and this industry can be a very good place for them to start their career with. Not only the aspiring actors, but this place or this industry can be a very good alternative for the senior actors who do not get roles often in the mainstream, or you can say they are more seasonal actors, but they also need to earn through their craft or through their profession. So this place can be a very good place for the senior artists too. Many microdramas which are really good, like 1 out of probably 20 which are good, but there are some good microdramas out there which do not revolve, or whose plotline do not revolve around the narcissistic hero or too good to be true heroine or a scheming woman who tries to break off the relationship of the hero and heroines, which also proves that if something progressive and intellectual is made, then format doesn't matter. The intention behind it matters. Intention of making money or intention of producing quality contents and putting efforts on it and contributing to the entertainment industry. In India, it is still new as a concept and not regulated by the government yet, like it is in China. But if it can be regulated properly, it has a massive potential. And yes, some fun fact is that in China, the government has turned or has given the building which used to be a COVID facility and provided containment facility, thousands of COVID patients, is now being used as a set for shooting for these microdramas, and every day more than hundreds of microdramas are being shot here. So this is it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed my insights on microdramas. We'll be back in the next episode. Till then, take care. Bye.